All right, Ben, what is your take? Because a lot of times it's really hard to objectively measure how this works. But, I mean, a lot more follow-up questions, it seemed like, for Trump, and a lot more controversial topics. We didn't hear questions about Clinton Foundation, Benghazi, those kinds of things from Mrs. Clinton.
First, I have to say, I think Lester Holt, in general, did a good job as a moderator of the debate last night. But I have to say that I do think that there's a point to those who are saying he went after Donald Trump with much tougher questions than the ones that he put to Hillary Clinton. I mean, the fact is we didn't see Hillary have to answer any questions about her policy as it relates to Libya, to Iraq, to Syria, the Russian reset, the Clinton Global Foundation, the deception related to her health, and, of course, her handling of classified information. None of those were things that Lester Holt brought up to her. In fact, the only question he asked her that was at all tough about her emails was simply, Madam Secretary, Mr. Trump has brought up this subject. What's your response? I think that the real issue there, though, is one where we have to say, it's up to Donald Trump in that instance to bring up those subjects. If the moderator isn't going to do it, then the other candidate needs to be there and be ready to make those issues at the center of the debate.
Yeah, I mean, that's their responsibility if they're going to get into the ring here. There was so much public chatter about Lester Holt, about, the campaigns pushing on him, saying he better fact-check Trump. There was a lot of outside pressure on you better give it to Trump, that kind of thing. Do you think that even subconsciously that factors into the preparations at all for those who are part of the mainstream media?
Absolutely, I think it factors in. I think it was very clear that in the wake of the experience that Matt Lauer had with Donald Trump, that they were not going to allow him to continue to talk about the Iraq war position without really drilling down on the subject. The problem that I really had, though, is that the fact-checking really seemed to only go in one direction. At the very beginning of the debate, Hillary Clinton said that the reason that we had a financial crisis was because of tax cuts for the wealthy, which is something that no reasonable person actually believes. That's not where the financial crisis came from. But Lester Holt wasn't there pushing back against her, saying, do you really believe that it's because we cut taxes on the wealthy that we had a financial crisis? The problem with the fact-checking approach is that it only pushes in one direction.
Okay, so there are obviously endless analysis. We'll have some polls probably by the end of the week that'll tell us or give us some indication of how this debate did or didn't impact how voters are feeling out there. But in the meantime, are there lessons that the candidates can take away from this? Missed opportunities, ways to do things differently, watch them back and see even how their expressions looked?
Absolutely. I think that when you're analyzing who wins and loses debates, in this case I would say that this is a debate Trump lost more than Hillary won. Hillary played this debate very safe. She was very careful in her approach, and she often was going through kind of a boring litany of policy proposals. I think on Trump's part, there were numerous opportunities that he could have taken to really slam Secretary Clinton on a number of different points. I think particularly on the cybersecurity question, where he could have gone after her for a number of the decisions that she's made as it regards secure information over the course of her career. And I think the real lesson that he ought to take from it is the one that he seems to be already taking from it today, which is that he ought to be more aggressive and that he ought to hit her harder in the future. He still has 2 more cracks at her, and we'll see if he takes that lesson.